Today I want to talk to you about the troll and the tower system. This is just kind of how institutions play out and our relationship with institutions, This has been my experience at different churches, It's like, it starts out really good, right? You meet people, those people seem nice, everybody's really eager, they're really happy to see you, they want you to be involved. You get involved, you start to fit in, you start to develop friendships, you get into small groups, you get, plugged in, right? And then it happens. You meet the troll and you discover the tower system, right? Thinking about this, I was reminded of C.S. Lewis's book, The Pilgrim's Regress. In that book, he meets this person who's kind of like a preacher or a pastor. And he's very austere. He's very stern. He's very much about the rules. And he's kind of scary, right? And then he takes off this mask and he's a really nice person. And like it's like these two different people, and the real person beneath the mask is kind and gracious and gentle and loving, and it's like everything's okay, and hey, we're just buddy, and then he puts on the mask and he's this stern rule keeper and rule enforcer, and he's like on your case all the time. And it's like, that's been my experience with pastors. Like, when I've gotten to know pastors personally, it's like they're very kind people. Like, the person that they are just outside of the system, the tower system, is good. But then they put on this mask and they become the troll. And the troll is like, you better watch out. You better not cross the structure or speak against the truths that are accepted, and so it's like this hidden thing underneath the surface. And that's why I was thinking about the troll. It's like, you come to this gorge, this river valley, and it's like, hey, there's this way across, right? There's this bridge, and it's like salvation. It's like, I can keep going, I can get to my destination. And then you start to cross the bridge, and this troll leaps up, and he's like, tries to kill you. And you're like, woo! Gotta deal with the trolls, right? I'm on my journey, and there's this beautiful bridge, but there's this troll underneath it, and I'm fighting with the troll. The troll comes out sometimes in our social groups and our social institutions, and it's like, oh, I thought there was this great thing going on, and all of a sudden this creature from the dark lurks and looms forth, and all of a sudden these nice people that I thought were my friends in this social group that I thought was so embracing turns against me. I got the troll and I got the tower system. So it's like, this is the reality, guys. Good people in an oppressive system will at first and can at times seem good and are actually good, but the system can bend them towards bad things. Like, we have to begin to pull apart people and the systems they're in. We have to understand, most of the time, good people do bad things because of the systems that they are participating with. Church is the same way. Government is the same way. It's like, I had this experience, my wife has had this experience with government institutions and medical institutions. It's like, you go and you meet nice people and they genuinely care. But then you have to deal with the system that they're a part of that doesn't care, and it's about numbers and it's about the bottom line, and you got to figure out how to work the system. And it doesn't matter how nice people are in the midst of the system. If the system is messed up and oppressive, it's a beast, right? It's like the troll under the bridge. The bridge is nice, but the troll will kill you. And it's like, can you work the system and avoid the trolls? That's the tower system, guys. And it's like, okay, so the problem is we've accepted the system. And we have become good people in a bad system that will eventually make us do bad things. And so we've got to start to pull ourselves out of these systems, recognize the systems that we're in, Sometimes we can correct the bad parts, but in some sense we have to admit that sometimes the institutional approach is inherently bad. It makes us do things, it makes us participate with things that in our deepest heart we know are wrong and we know we would never do, and yet we do it. We isolate others, we ostracize, we shun, we oppress, because the systems we're in demand it, even though we ourselves would never do that. And if we could step back and see ourselves as a part of the system, we would actually be appalled. This is what Martin Luther King Jr. tried to do in his marches for freedom, and he tried to expose the fact that good people were a part of an oppressive system, but they didn't realize it. This is what we all need to do in our systems. I remember this moment in a church I attended a long time ago. I'd been going to the church for a little over 3 years. Everything was going great. I was getting involved. I was being asked to lead small groups. I was playing drums in the praise and worship band, and it was really good. And I was being invited by the pastor to step into greater roles of leadership, and it was all going really well. And then I met the troll under the bridge, and then the tower system lunged out of the darkness at me. What happened was, one of my good friends who was just as involved had a personal incident with one of the other congregants. It was like a personal disagreement, you could say. And that was it, really. But it got political. It got to people taking sides and people jumping in, maybe that shouldn't have. And my friend ended up getting kicked out of our church because people sided with the other person. And that was the first thing that I was like, whoa. And then the pastor approached me. He wanted to have a talk with me. And he told me, like, hey, we've kicked this guy out. He knew I was friends with this guy. And he's like, I just want you to know this guy's a problem. And I was like, well, I want you to know this guy's my friend, and I know he's not a problem. He has problems. He's not a problem. And guess what? The church is here to help people deal with their problems. This is what community should do. Community should surround and come around people that are struggling. And as I was talking to my pastor about how we should come around this guy, my friend, instead of kick him out, I saw it in his face. There was this drawing back. There was this epiphany happening in his mind. He was looking at me going, oh, so you're that kind of person. You're the kind of person that's going to be loyal to people and not the system. And it was like the system has declared this guy an outcast. He's been thrown out. And if you're going to care about the person more than the system, you're on the same path, buddy. And guess what? A few years later, I'm at the same end. Because I chose people over the system. But that day I met the troll under the bridge. That day I saw the tower system come out. And guess what? Looking back, I realized that was the moment that things started to change. That was the moment that my community that I had invested my heart and soul and time into wasn't really my community. It was a troll in a tower system. I had gotten myself involved in a system that could be good if you played along and did the right things and appeased the powers that be. But it really wasn't my church. It wasn't my group. It wasn't my social group. It was a social group run by someone that could sometimes put on a mask and be very harsh and kick people out, but that was personally very kind. That's a problem, guys. It's a problem when we have systems that turn good people into evil doers of bad things, even though they're still good people. This is the problem we're facing now in our culture, whether it's church or government or non-for-profits or the medical industrial complex, right? We have to begin to detangle ourselves from these oppressive systems that have turned us into evil people when we're not, because we're not, guys. We're good people, but good people in evil systems will typically do evil things because they don't want to suffer the wrath of that system, because it's become their life. It's their social group. It's the thing they need to do the things they need. And so when it comes down to choosing between the evil system and your own called to do what is right even when it costs you. Most people choose to do what benefits them. They choose to go along with the evil system, the troll and the tower system, because they're so invested in it that they couldn't imagine what they would do without it. That's a bad place to be. It's hard to start to step out of those systems, those institutions, and start to take personal responsibility and to start to do what is right and to start to really build your own system that is personal, organic, and communal. We need to start to exchange these hyper globalized industrial social complexes for real community that's close to home. Like, guys, when you have real friendships and real community, they will never choose some kind of external institutional something other than you or over you, right? They won't go, oh, well, I really like you and we're really good friends, but I'm going to kick you out because my social group demands it, because they're ruled by this superstructure system that makes them do bad things sometimes. And we just all accept it. You got to stop accepting it, guys. We got to stop letting things turn us into trolls, because we all become the troll at times in those systems, because we all do the thing that serves ourselves and doesn't get us kicked out of the group, even though it will harm others. That's the troll in the tower system. We shouldn't accept that sometimes we have to do bad things to stay in a good system, and that's actually a good system. That's not a good system, guys. Don't be the troll in the tower system. Let's tear those towers down. Let's kill the troll that's in each of us. Let's get back to better community, to closer knit social groups that really do what they should do, that really value people over systems. Okay, see you guys.